I give commentary based on my opinion. Nothing is to be taken as factual. We are just here to have conversation. We don't expose and we don't sip tea on this channel. I'm giving you real talk straight, no chaser. Let's see if you can handle it.
Cause I'm a boss.
I haven't done anything for you to be proud of.
Of course you have. You are marrying a man who can support you.
Good evening. I know this is a later live, but I had to go later because I had other stuff to do. So I'm just now getting on here. There's a lot unfolding with the Who the F Did I Marry story. So I was on the live earlier on TikTok to watch the interview that she did with a guy named Jolly. So I wanted to get some of that. So that's why I'm coming on here later, because I actually wanted to do this earlier. So hopefully you're okay with that. So get comfortable. And I didn't schedule this earlier because I didn't know how long that interview was going to last, but I think I got enough to do a video to give you an update on the Who the F Did I Marry story. So hopefully I can get that up to you either tomorrow or the next day after that. Okay, so let's get into this season of Love is Blind. And I have to be honest with you, before I started watching this, I was done with Love is Blind. I was so done. And I think I'm not the only one that feels this way. I was like, no, I'm not doing another season of Love is Blind. Season 5 was a hot mess, and I was just like, I'm done. I feel like Love is Blind lost its integrity, which was why I was like, I'm done with the show. Because I really thought that in the beginning, season 1, it was truly authentic, and it was all about, finding love and do you believe love is blind? I really thought it was truly about that, but now you can tell as the show has gotten popular, it's really growing more into views, and it's growing more into going viral on social media. It is just growing into a business, and I'm not like mad or hating. It's just that was just not what I supported the show for. So when it started to make those changes and clearly make that shift, I was kind of like not feeling it. But I have been influenced. I mean, haven't we all been influenced this season? I've been influenced. I started seeing some people talk about it, and then I started getting DMs and they're like, Yoni, like, we want you to watch. I want your opinion. So I watched. And within the first 30 minutes of the first episode, I was like, I don't want to watch. I don't. As soon as Matthew, and we're going to pull him up. As soon as Matthew came across my scene, my TV, I was like, no, no. He reminded me of a serial killer. He reminded me of someone that should be locked up maybe in a straitjacket or a jail cell. Honestly, I don't know. But I wasn't feeling it because I was just like, the hell? Why they got this man on this TV? No. And I'm just like, listen, if Love is Blind can't get it right when it comes to the vetting process, I don't have a chance. But I'm just like, I know damn well they knew something was off with this Matthew. Because, girl, as soon as that man popped up on my screen, I said, see, this is why I said I wasn't going to watch this season. This is why. But I kept watching because people are like, Yoni, just keep watching. So I'm like, okay, here I am. I got past 30 minutes. I made it to the 6th episode. Girl, I didn't think I was going to make it. I was like, oh, hell no. Why? Listen, that Matthew is a case study. All right? That incel community birthed that man. And it was very frightening for me. I was like, oh, I wasn't feeling it. But let's just get into the couples. Let's get into the season. I have a slideshow. Let me go ahead and pull it up. But girl, I was just like, oh my gosh, that man is weird as hell. Okay. So of course, I have to talk about my favorite couple this season. Amy and Johnny. They are my favorite couple. I think they are America's favorite couple so far. So far. Amy, she gives me like a mystic vibe. I don't know why I get that vibe from her, but she gives me like she's a mystic. You know, she's all about the stars aligning. She's all about the universe. She's all about right place, right time, right moment. I had a dream about this. Amy is so unproblematic so far. I really like Amy as a person. She seems like a really nice person. I connected to her personally in the pods. I just really liked her energy. I like the connection that Amy and Johnny had because they're emotionally available. And I like that. I feel like they're probably the healthiest out of everybody so far. But I just like their communication style. I like how they work well together. They communicate well together. They're open. The main thing that I admired about Johnny was when she opened up to him in the pods about her brother and how he has a disability and how she could potentially be a future caregiver. And I felt like that was important to talk about. And it was a great example for those that are actually in a situation like that. Because I have a mother that was in a situation like that, where her sister has Down syndrome and she could possibly be a future caretaker. So I've seen my mom in that role. And so I really admired him and how accepting he was of that, because I could relate to that. You know, for a man to say, hey, yes, I will not only accept you, but I will also accept your brother who is special needs. I just really liked him after that. So Amy and Johnny, they are my favorite couple this year. And yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. I really don't have anything else to say about Amy. Okay. Where's Cynthia G? We need to call her. I ain't seen the girl in a while. Where's Cynthia? Because she need to do a whole video on this. She really do. Because as soon as this couple came on my screen, I was like, that's what it was. I don't like them. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't. And the reason is he is not assertive to me. I don't know. He's not assertive. And I feel like I don't think Brittany, because this is Kenneth and Brittany. I don't think Brittany sees the role that she's about to play in this man's life. I don't think she sees it. I think she is still on this, the pause and, going off of everything that this man says. But from a day-to-day life experience, which we're going to get into in season 7 and beyond, I feel like she's going to regret her choice because he is not as assertive as he's trying to portray himself to be. And I can tell because assertiveness is a certain energy and he doesn't carry that energy, which is why I don't find him to be attractive at all, because he just doesn't carry that assertiveness. He's not a bad looking guy by any means. It's just he's presenting himself one way, but energetically he's presenting himself a different way and they don't match. So I feel like as the season prolongs, we're going to see a different side of him. And yeah, they're probably, I want to say they're one of my least favorite couples on the show. I'm just not buying it. I feel like Brittany is going to play a second mom to him, and it hasn't gotten to that point yet, but I see it. I think right now he's in this space where he's trying to keep up with her, and we'll see a different side later. Okay, because that day-to-day life, that daily routine, that daily schedule reveals everything to me. And it just hasn't gotten to that point yet, but we'll see. Okay, so next, girl, Girl, I don't even know where to start. Amber, Desiree, AD, and Clay. This gonna be a long one. Girl, what did Risa Tisa say? She said the United Nations of red flags. Girl, so I'm sitting here watching this. First of all, I gotta be honest with you. I was already annoyed because she formed a connection with Matthew. And I know we wasn't the only ones that saw that this man was creepy as hell. And I was like, AD girl, she talked about her trauma. She opened up about in the pods. Let's talk about what she opened up about in the pods versus outside of the pods, because she's doing a lot of opening up, right? So inside the pods, she talked about the type that she has. And one thing that I noticed about the type that she has, like the athlete, the mainly men that she chooses, they have an ego, a really big ego. And so they care more about their ego than anyone else, which is horrible to be in a relationship with or to deal with men where the only thing they care about is their ego. That you will always come second to their ego. That's worse. So she's used to dealing with men like that, but she's also used to dealing with men that are emotionally unavailable. So when she got in the pod, the first thing she started to do was mother the men. And that is how she created these relationships. And even with Matthew, he was a project. Clay is a project. She chose projects. And that was what was so hard to watch for me as a Black woman, because we always complain about being in the driver's seat and being able to choose. And then this is who we choose, projects. And that's why it's so important. I come on here and, you know, I try to kindly, with grace, tell Black women, listen, you're going to have to do some work on yourself. You can divest, you can do all of these things. But if you don't do the work, you're going to continue to choose the same man. You're going to continue to choose the same man. You're going to continue to make the wrong choice in men simply because you have not faced yourself. Typically, because of us as Black women, we have gone through a lot within our lives. Our types are really, they are created by our trauma. So the types that we have, it stems from our trauma. So you know how like other girls, other women, I don't think it is as extreme, but I also feel like their type too comes from partially their trauma, you know. But for a Black woman, it's like we have a lot of trauma that's associated with us because we are Black first, and then we're women, and then the list goes on after that, right? And so our type is so severe to us. It could be deadly to us, literally. And so our type really stems from trauma, which is why if we want to change our type so that we can make better choices and decisions, it's going to start with a therapist chair. It is. It's going to start with some trauma therapy, some PTSD therapy, and it may even lead to some other type of psychological, psychiatric help, depending on how severe the trauma was. So I support Black women. I really do. It was just very hard to watch her choose projects for herself that involved her taking on that mother role where she had to pull information out of Matthew, who claimed to be hard to talk to, claimed to be hard to open up. And it was just like, it wasn't her job to mother these men in the pods. And that's basically what we watched, which was uncomfortable because it's like she doesn't know her worth. If she did, she wouldn't feel the need to put herself in those positions with men where it's like, okay, you're telling me to my, well, not to your face, but through the pods, these men are telling her directly, I have all of these issues. I have all of these problems. And here she is. She's like, I want to fix them. I want to fix them. I want to help. And it was becoming a lot to watch as a Black woman and knowing that so many people are going to watch this and this is who we choose. So it was a lot. I also want to talk about what I don't agree with that I'm seeing online with AD. Black women picking this woman apart. The hair, the lashes. Listen, Listen, I get it. And I know where we get it from. We get it from our mothers. We get it from our grandmothers. And some of us even get it from our great grandmothers, where we nitpick and, everything has to be in place, from our hair to our nails, to our eyebrows, to skin, to this, to that, to that. And it's because it really stems from the pressure always being on us 20 times. Right? People clocking every little thing that we do outside of our mothers and grandmothers and great grandmothers. We're constantly always being clocked. But my issue is, why do we do it to each other publicly? That's what I don't get. Because then if everyone else is seeing you do it publicly to this Black woman, they're going to feel comfortable to do it. Which is why I'm big on pulling that woman to the side, helping her, not critiquing, helping her, not, oh, let me point out this or let me point out. I'm not doing that. If I'm not going to help, and when I mean help, pull out my makeup bag, pull out my sewing kit to help her with her hair, I'm going to shut the hell up. I don't have anything to say. I'm going to shut the hell up and I'm going to mind my damn business. Period. If I'm not about to pull out my tweezers and help her with her eyebrows, I'm not commenting. If I'm not helping, I'm not commenting. I'm not saying anything. And I think a lot of women need to take that approach. Like, sometimes it's not always your place, especially if you're not going to help. If you're not going to dish out some money to help this woman, then please shut the hell up. Like, I cannot stand that. But I know where it stems from. It stems from, it's just the culture that we grew up in as Black girls, that we always have to be on point. And it even causes us anxiety. It even causes us to wear bonnets outside because we're depressed and we don't really want to do our hair. We don't even want to fuss with it. So we would rather just wear the bonnet outside, because without the bonnet, people are going to be fussing about our edges. Are they laid? So I get the bonnet wearers. I get it, because if you don't wear the bonnet, people are going to be fussing about something else. It's always something with Black women. You're always being critiqued constantly. So I get it. But can we lay off of it? I mean, I get it. AD, there are some things that I don't agree with when it comes to her, but it's not her appearance. It's just not. I know what it's like to have a messed up leave out, y'all. Okay, I got some photos. All right, I can pull up some photos of myself. Like, ooh, girl. I could pull up some photos where my makeup was ashy. I could pull up some photos where my lashes looked a hot mess. Okay. So I'm not about to do that, because I know what it's like to just not have your day, or not be on your Zoom, or whatever the girls are saying. Like, listen, okay, I got photos. All right, I do. So I don't have a comment on her appearance. Now, what I do want to comment on is, I think outside of the pods, when it comes to AD, she talked about how her father was never around, and how, she wanted men to love her. So she would pursue men and try to get them to love her, similar to how she had the distant relationship with her father. So I understand that. But one thing that I noticed is she tends to lead her body in order to get that love. She tends to lead with her body in order to get that love. Now, we're going to get into later in this live, some things that I didn't agree with when it comes to the other cast members and just the overall production team, camera, editing, producers, the camera crew. Like, listen, we're going to get into it. But I just want to focus on their relationship and how they connected in the pods and everything. Clay is your typical Black male who has a lot of trauma that he has not dealt with, and he's trying to date, and he's looking for a woman to fix him. He's looking for a woman to build him up emotionally. He's looking for a woman to basically mother him, and she wants to mother him. So this is your typical Black love connection. Keeping it real, you're going to be upset. It is what it is. It's your typical Black love, struggle love connection. And they're probably my least favorite on the show. Was it shocking that when they went to their honeymoon, they were the first couple to be half naked in a hot tub, being skimpy and making their connections sexual up front. No, it was not. It was not shocking to me. It was not shocking that in the very next scene, the first scene of them being in their honeymoon, it was sexual off the bat. So yeah, but I also feel like AD, she plays a hand in that, and I think it has a lot to do with her father not being in her life, and she now leads with her body to get that love from men or to get that admiration and things and stuff. So okay, it's really sad. It's really sad. So again, I'm gonna move on to Chelsea and Jimmy. Okay. When it comes to Chelsea and Jimmy, on one hand, I see where people are coming from when it comes to Chelsea, but also I feel like a lot of people are just wanting to pick on this woman because she's not conventionally attractive. Let's be real. She's not conventionally attractive, and people want to pick on her about that. And I understand she made that comparison, Megan Fox. I see it. I'm just being honest with you. I just see a woman that has a different lower face, but upper face. I see that where the comparison of Megan Fox comes in. I do. Now, does she look exactly like Megan Fox? No, but she could be a sister. She could even be maybe an aunt or something, but she doesn't look exactly like Megan Fox. Okay, so I get people, making fun of the comparison, but I feel like another part of it is just people being mean and wanting to bully this girl because of how she looks. She doesn't look conventionally attractive, and it's just disgusting. I'm actually tired of seeing people make fun of this woman because it's cyberbullying, and I don't know why people feel so comfortable to cyberbully this girl when it's just like, come on, I get it. And yes, she's annoying. I don't really care for Chelsea. I just got to put that out here. But I'm also not about to kick this girl when I know that her insecurities are very strong and it pertains to her look. She's very insecure. This woman is very insecure and it pertains to her looks. And I think it's because she's been picked on. I mean, seeing how the internet is reacting to her, and probably, when she was younger, she just seems like she was picked on for her look. So I don't know, but she's annoying as hell. I just gotta keep it real with you. She annoying as hell. I wouldn't be able to hang out with her. I'm just no. I would have to keep my distance because she would get on my damn nerves. Honestly. So no. I think Chelsea and Jimmy are the perfect match. I do. I think they're a perfect match from a therapist's spiritual perspective. So let me, and when I say I'm not a therapist, but I'm saying like from a psychological analyst, I feel like they're a perfect match to teach each other in the areas that they need to grow within themselves. I do. I feel like they're a perfect match as far as like Chelsea triggers Jimmy's insecurities and Jimmy triggers Chelsea's insecurities. And these insecurities are just bleeding out and they're coming to the surface. And it's like they actually have to deal with their insecurities. Is anyone else kind of picking up on that? He seems highly insecure. And it's just interesting how he's trying to put it off like, oh no, Chelsea is insecure. No, you're both actually insecure. So Jimmy is insecure as well. I feel like, I think it's partially his looks as well. I mean, I've seen how he was being compared to that cartoon character. But no, I think they're a perfect match. I think they came together to learn from each other and to grow from each other because they're both highly insecure. And it's so cringy watching them on TV because their interactions are so cringy. And it's because there's an under layer of insecurities in the both of them, and trying to see them force themselves to basically push away these insecurities that are clearly coming up to the surface. their interactions are on the struggle bus, girl. And sometimes when they be on my screen, I'll be like, oh my God, get them off my screen. Because I'll be like, oh my gosh, why do I feel like this? And it's because it's just like, if they would just be real with each other, if they would just really just be real with each other, the interactions wouldn't be so cringy to me. Now, the crazy part, okay, let's start with the she's stacked comment. Girl, first of all, they both are wrong. I just have to put that out. They're both wrong. Jeramey was dead wrong. That man was hella disrespectful. When I tell you he didn't care. When he saw Miss AD, girl, he was like, oh, I gotta go talk to her. And then instantly that triggered Chelsea. And the pick-Misha thing to do in that moment was to attack the woman. So she said, she's stacked. But really, she said that because she was insecure because this man had been talking to her and disrespecting her in front of, Jeramey was doing it in front of everyone, right? So she was upset. And so the first thing she went for was, let me attack this other woman in a sarcastic way because I don't want to address the man that disrespected me to my face and in front of other people. So instead of me addressing the man, I'm going to attack the woman passive aggressively. I was pissed, y'all. I was pissed. Okay. I was. And then how did you feel about Jeramey giving AD so much attention? Do you think it was genuine or do you think it was sexual? See, a part of me is like, okay, desirability is sexual. It can be, right? It can be sexual. And it is nice to see a Black woman be desired. But the desirability that he was giving her had a sexual undertone. But then everyone was doing it. It wasn't just Jeramey. It was both men and women. It was both men and women. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. But one thing's for sure, he was dead wrong, though. He was dead wrong. And then the worst part about it was when he got back to that hotel room and Chelsea made it clear to him that she was uncomfortable, he gaslit the hell out of her. I was like, I just wonder what production was saying. I just wonder what the camera crew was saying because come on now. That man gaslit her so bad. I was like, oh my God. And that triggered her insecurities more, which is going to cause some future damage when it comes to her insecurities if she doesn't start addressing her insecurities and facing her insecurities. Because basically the very thing that she's insecure about, which is her looks, and she's insecure that men don't want her because of how she looks, right? That was the very thing that he was playing a role in when it came to her insecurities. And he exhibited that behavior and then decided to gaslight her later. And I can't wait for the reunion when it comes to that season because I want to see Jeramey answer for himself why he went to that hotel room, back to that hotel room, and lied to this woman like that. Because that was insane. It was very insane. But I respectfully, I understand. Listen, AD has a banging body. America can admit that this woman is beautiful, right? She has a banging body. She has, for most women, the dream body, right? So I get it. I get it. But come on, if this is the woman that you're choosing to be with, respect her, But I'm not, listen, if I see an AD, I'm not blind. Shit, I'm not blind. I'm not going to be like, oh, I can't, girl, I would. And I'm not a hater, too. If I see a beautiful woman, she beautiful, But there's a way to go about it, and there's a way to handle that and share spaces with your significant other while admiring another beautiful woman. I just feel like there's a way that you go about it, and he went about it completely wrong. This man, he acted like Chelsea wasn't even there. he like Jimmy, he ain't seen nobody but AD, girl. And I was like, Jimmy boy, what's going on? He was just, you could have did this, and his eyes was on AD. That's how bad it was, y'all. That's how Jimmy was just taken back. Okay, that man, whoo, he was just like, and then you know what was so crazy though? He didn't give a damn about Clay. He didn't care about Clay at all. Like, no one is talking about that. He didn't give a damn about Clay. He was like, AZ. Because he was talking to Clay's girl for a while. And, you know, typical black man, just, we gonna keep it real over here. Typical black man, he don't feel threatened by a white man. But he should have felt threatened. He should have felt very threatened. But see, he didn't feel threatened by this black man because black women are loyal to black men. I mean, he didn't feel threatened by this white man. And, you know, it's because, you know, that arrogance, that, you know, egotistical, it stems from black women constantly choosing them and putting them first. But girl, they all would have been a prospect to me. Jimmy, Clay, all of them. It don't matter what race. They all a prospect to me at this point. It's not about race, but I wouldn't choose Jimmy because he got insecurities and I don't like how he gaslit Chelsea, so I wouldn't choose him. Clay, baby boy 2.0. Matthew, serial killer. I don't know about y'all. That's how I'm feeling when I see that man. That man he has the ability, honey. But I'm saying like race, that's not the determining factor about who I'm going to choose, which was why when AD in the pods told Clay who she was like emotionally invested in, he was like, Matthew? But I you know, a part of me is like, is it because Matthew was so weird and awkward and socially like just off? Or was it because he was white and male? I don't know. Because the way Clay reacted, he was like, this is who you got me. You know, it was, so I don't know. Trevor is my favorite. Trevor, he is a decent guy. Out of all the men on the show, Trevor was my favorite. He was my favorite. And honestly, I forgot to mention him. Thank you for bringing him up. Trevor was actually my absolute favorite. He seems like a really nice guy. He seems like he would have been my number one pick if I was on the show. Trevor. I just like his mindset. I like his optimism. Me and him would get along so well. I like how he is, I just like how his mind works. And I like how he takes on life and adversities. And I like his sense of humor too. Like if I was to date a white man, like I said, he would have to be white. He give me the Viking too, you know, the Viking built, you know. But he probably would have been my first pick. He was very kind. And I loved how he handled the situation where he got rejected. And I just felt like as a man, he took that very well. Listen, Trevor was my favorite. And it's sad that he went home by himself. Girl, that's crazy. Like, how did he go home by himself? I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. And these women are on the show fighting for their lives, except for Amy. Honestly. She's the only one that's not fighting for her life. So Trevor just seemed very genuine, open, transparent, emotionally available, everything that I would be looking for. So, and I love the optimism. He's in touch with God. He has a spiritual relationship. I just really liked him. I just don't understand how he went home. Crazy. And Chelsea, girl, you missed out on a good man. You missed out on a good man. She gonna be sick too. She gonna be sick when they link and they talk and they meet face to face. Chelsea's gonna be sick. Do you hear me? Sick. All right. Now, how are y'all feeling about Jeramey and Laura? Okay. They are opposite, but they are also very similar. Okay. This is giving me like, I don't know what zodiac sign they are, but she's giving me fire sign and then he's giving me air sign. He's giving me like Aquarius and then she's giving me like some type of fire sign. Girl, Laura and Jeramey, they can work, but he is childish. He's very childish. And at first, in the pods, I thought it was just his humor. You know, he's sarcastic, he's fun, you know, he's clever with his humor, very, very intelligent. He's a very intelligent guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's very childish. And it was crazy to me because I was like, okay, this could work, but then I don't know, it could be really bad. It's kind of like one of them, it's kind of like a connection where it could either be really good or it could be hell. Like, and I think we kind of got a glimpse of that, you know, in episode 6, how when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, girl, it's bad. That's their relationship. But honestly, they look like they are already married to me. Like, they look like they've known each other. They look like the type of couple that's been together for a minute. They look like the type of couple where she has this annoying ass husband and she's like a stickler. Like, she has like the stick up her ass, but her husband is the funny one, you know? But my thing is, he seems to not know when to take life serious. And that's going to ruin their connection, in my opinion. That is going to ruin their connection, because the bean dip comment, first of all, we got to start with the woman that threw the rock. All right. And that was Laura. Laura decided to have that conversation with her fiance. Why? I want to know, Laura, why did you feel like that was a conversation you should have with your fiance and then make a joke about it? I felt like that was weird. So let's start with her, because she's not innocent. And in my opinion, when it comes to this whole bean dip situation, they both wrong. Both of them. She wrong, he wrong. They both wrong. Okay. The bean dip comment was weird. And as a woman, why would you want to talk about another woman to your fiance like that? Where's girl code? Where's girl code? So she's just as responsible for the essay comment as much as him repeating what she said. And then did you see how they were comfortable to, like, no, Jeramey was comfortable to do that in front of Clay? And did you see how Clay didn't defend AD at all? That's a baby boy. That is not a man. That is a baby boy. That is a male. Because any man that I know would feel like his woman was disrespected like that in front of him, oh, that would have been a totally different type of conversation. But Clay didn't defend her at all. Clay didn't stand up for her. He didn't defend her, stand up for her, anything. He felt like it wasn't a big deal, or it was cool because everyone is you know, fawning over my girl, the woman I'm, you know, ego, right? But what about the safety and the emotional safety of this woman? So the bean dip comment, without, you know, me getting flagged, basically it was an essay comment, but it was supposed to be a joke, but it was a poor one. So the bean dip was basically and it had to do with colorism, her being black, being dip, okay, which is just a horrible joke. So with her being black, that's why it's bean dip, brown, right? And then it had to do with her breast and him smacking it, or her smacking it and then saying bean dip. Like, that was the joke. Yeah, if you ever been, y'all gotta hang around white people. That's white people like that, y'all. That's how they are. They corny, you know, corny. But sometimes they corny can be funny. It's just this corny was not funny. It was very, very inappropriate. And I felt like AD was disrespected. And as a woman, Laura, I felt like, why? What was the reason? So yeah, it was very weird. Very weird. And to be honest, a part of me understands why Love is Blind kept this in the show, because honestly, it really created a shift for the couples. So I see why it was kept. But girl, it was just a mess. It was just a mess. And both of them need to apologize to AD. Jeramey should apologize to Clay because he disrespected him as a man. And they just need to apologize, because that was just so inappropriate. So inappropriate. But like I said, them as a couple, I mean, like I said, I could see it working. But then I could see it being a disaster. So I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see with Laura and Jeramey. Okay, let's move on. Oh, you know, I had to talk about my girl Jessica. Okay. Jessica was the first single mom that we have had on Love is Blind. And that was refreshing to see. Like this season, there were some real situations and scenarios. Like I said, with Amy and Johnny, Amy had the caregiver. She had to consider that, oh, I have to talk about this if I'm going to, you know, be on the show and be in a relationship. And Jessica had to talk about how she had a daughter. And I really love Jessica's story. She's been through a lot. But if you meet her, or I mean, if you were to see her out, you would probably like think that, oh, she probably hasn't been through anything, because most attractive people, they tend to deal with that. They're attractive. They don't have a story. There's nothing interesting about them. They get a lot of attention. Everyone probably obsesses over them. It's kind of like that. But on the show, you don't see her, and she is opening up about her earlier life experiences and things like that. And you actually grow to like her, and you see why she is who she is, right? She carries herself the way she carries herself. I love how she talks about her daughter. I love how she advocated for herself while dating and having a child and having a daughter, and how protective she is over her daughter. That was refreshing as a single mom, for her to be that example on national, because I feel like this is national TV at this point, Love is Blind. It was refreshing to watch. So I grew to like Jessica a lot on the show. She's one of those women where she has very high standards. She has a take it or leave it mindset. She's the type where I'm like, yeah, I like her. Now, I wonder if this is because of her ego being bruised, though. I do. Her dealing with rejection, was this a first for her, and that's why she reacted the way that she did? Or was she really standing on business, you know? Or was she in her ego because she knew how Chelsea looked, and she knew that Jimmy, you know, that was part of, you know, that's part of who he is. He's physical attraction is a big thing for him. So I wonder, I don't know. I think when we continue to watch, we will see if her coming at Jimmy that way, like, you gonna choke when you see me for the first time, right? Was it her ego because she was dealing with rejection for the first time? I don't know. Or was it because she was standing on business because she had been through so much and she was just like not tolerating BS, because she talked about her trauma and she talked about everything. So I wonder, I think we're going to see it later. And how will we be able to tell if it's her ego? Because I want you to look out for this. How will we be able to tell if if this was really about, you know, confidence and standards and high self-esteem? If when Jimmy sees her, if she's going to actually take this man back, and how she's going to react to him opening up, because you know it's coming. How she's going to react to him opening up about how Chelsea looks. Is she going to beat this woman down and say, haha, that's why you should have chose me? Or how is she going to handle this? I really think how she's going to handle this is going to be interesting. Okay. I think how she handles this is going to be very, very interesting. That's what I'm going to be looking out for in the next few episodes, is when they do meet up. If he's allowing this man to talk shit about this woman, I'm going to be like, I'm going to have an issue with that. I am. Because I can tell you now, Jimmy is not a good choice. If I was Jessica, I would stand on the choice that I made at the time, and I wouldn't take this man back, because Jimmy ain't shit. So that man, the way he gaslit Chelsea, I would assume he would do the same to Jessica. You know, character is character at the end of the day. So I feel like she need to just trust that it didn't work out the first time and just keep it at that, and not think that she's special because now that he sees how she looks, oh, I should have chose her. Now, like, let's go live happily ever after. Because honestly, Jimmy is really not a good choice, and she needs to stand on what she told that man. She like, listen, I'm not here to coddle you. I'm not here to coddle. So she needs to stand on what he did and how he did it. And she also needs to stand on everything that she said. Because girl, I ain't never in the history of Love is Blind see a woman read a man to filth the way that she did. She read that man to filth, and I was here for it. So I hope she stands on how she read this man, because it wasn't just about him choosing another woman. See, it wasn't just about him choosing another woman. It was also about just him as a man and how he handled the situation so poorly. And she didn't like that. And that was a red flag for her. And she has a daughter and she's trying to protect her daughter. So it's just going to be very interesting to me. It's going to be very interesting how all of this plays out. I don't want to praise Jessica too much because I feel like she's getting a lot of praise, but I feel like she still has some proving to do for me that she is who she says she is. Because listen, you could say that in the pod, but outside the pod, it may be, she may be moving a little bit differently, in my opinion. She may be moving a little bit differently. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Jessica definitely gives me, I want a man and I need a man and I'm not settling for anything else. Jimmy gives me boy. Like he gives me, I'm a grown boy and he's not really ready for the responsibility of a child, let alone a marriage. So no. If she takes him back, I'm going to tell you now, I'm probably not going to be feeling her. I'm just being honest. Because I don't like when women, you know, they do all of that and then they just to go back. I'm just like, girl, come on now. I hope she stands 10 toes down, because that's honestly what made me like her, because she read that man to filth. Okay, he definitely wants a woman out of his league for sure. Jimmy wants a woman out of his league for sure. For sure. So I wanted to talk about, I had to save this for last. I wanted to talk about the AD situation in totality, right? As a curvy woman, I talk about this all the time. And every time I talk about this, I always get gaslit about it. I always get gaslit. Oh, it's not just curvy women. It's women that are attractive, or it's not even women that are attractive. It's just a woman in general. But did y'all see on this show how she dealt with sexual harassment? And it was so severe that it came from everyone, not just men. It came from the women as well. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to being a curvy girl. I've talked about this on my platform several times. And like I said, I've always gotten gaslit about it. But this woman was sexually harassed. And everyone was just making a joke about it. Like everyone was just laughing it off. And I told you my story. I have so many stories about being sexually harassed and assaulted as a curvy Black girl. And, you know, I think the thing that was so triggering for me was at times, did AD lead with her body? Yes, she did. Right. But there were times where you could clearly see that she was uncomfortable, and she's been put in that position a few times, and she's kind of had to kind of give off that nervous or uncomfortable laugh. And also, if she were to defend herself or speak up for herself and make it known that she was uncomfortable, they would just villainize her as the angry Black woman. That's what it's like to be a Black girl that's curvy. Is you don't even feel like you can really defend yourself, because if you do, people are going to scapegoat you or villainize you and try to make it seem like you're being the angry Black woman or you're being the difficult Black woman. And that's why some of the clips, you could tell that AD was very uncomfortable, and everyone just crossed every boundary that you should have when it comes to a person. It was almost like they just did not care. And it wasn't just men, it was women too. And when I talk about my trauma when it comes to being a curvy woman in society, it's not just men, it's women too. This is when I went to therapy and I was talking to my therapist about, you know, my experiences. She brought it to my attention that I had been sexually assaulted on several occasions when it comes to women. So when I was in high school, I was called Big Booty Judy a lot. And it happened around the time that ATL came out. And ATL, you know, at that time, if you were probably in high school, everyone was talking about ATL. So when that show came out, I mean, that movie came out, then people started nicknaming me that, like Big Booty Judy, right? And I didn't really like it, but I kind of laughed it off and, you know, was like, whatever, because if you were to defend yourself again, you would just be the difficult Black girl, the angry Black girl. So I just let it slide. So that was my nickname in high school. But this is when I started to realize that I had been sexually assaulted by several women. Was in high school, girls would come up to me and slap my ass, would just do this, would do this, would always like hit me and stuff like that. On my ass. I could just be walking down the hallway and it would just happen. That's sexual assault. So that happened a lot to me. I always had some uncomfortable, honestly, situations with women just as much as men. It wasn't just a man thing. It was a society thing, how people just objectified me and how they didn't care. I mean, you could clearly see that I'm uncomfortable and they did not care. It was for their own pleasure. So when I went to therapy, I realized that I had been sexually assaulted several times, probably more than 100 times in my life. And it's just like, wow. And that's just 100 times from women. We're not talking about men. So that's why I kind of wanted to talk about this in my live stream tonight, because I never talked about how a lot of my sexual assault came from women just as much as men. It wasn't just a man thing. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that, so you kind of see what I'm talking about. And then the comments that people make, that was another thing, is whenever a woman would make a comment about my body, she always felt the need to do it in a crowd. Like, if she'd be like, look at, like people be like, look at Kiana's fat ass, like say it real loud. And then all of a sudden everyone would dart their eyes towards me and like stare at me. And now I'm starting to think, because now I get to see it from a different perspective. Chelsea, she did that out of insecurity. So when I was watching, I was like, wait a minute. How many times has this happened to me? How many times have they done that to me? And the reason why they did that was because of their insecurities, or maybe there was a comment that a guy made to them about my body and I didn't know, I didn't hear that, right? And so then the thing to do would be to, you know, say whatever out loud, and then like everyone would dart their eyes at me and stare at me. I would just feel so humiliated, you guys. Like, I have a lot of trauma when it comes to being a curvier woman. Like a lot. No. I don't think the school was doing too much at all. You should not touch another person without their permission or their consent. And that was the thing, was my therapist, because it had happened to me and my parents never had a conversation. And I'm saying this for the parents right now. My parents never had a conversation with me about no one should touch me without my consent. No one. I was taught to always stay in a child's place. And and that's the old school teaching, right? When it comes to raising a kid, stay in a child's place. But what if adult is crossing boundaries that involve consent? That's huge. Or it's not always adults. What if it's people in general? And see, you have to have that conversation with your child, because I'm telling you, if my parents would have had that conversation with me, I would have been able to vocalize clearly and advocate for myself when I was when I was having these experiences, or when I was in these positions where I really felt embarrassed, humiliated, and uncomfortable, and sexualized and objectified. And I didn't even have a way to advocate for myself because consent was never taught to me. So when I got to therapy, I did not know how much damage had been done. I knew damage had been done because I went through an essay in my freshman year in college. So I went through an official SA experience. And so that caused a lot of trauma because it was anal. You know, and see, I don't talk about this type of stuff on my platform. So, and then that was another layer to my trauma, was I was trying to decide, like, am I still a virgin? But I was anally. And my therapist had to explain it to me. So it was just a lot to unpack in therapy. Like, people just think I come on here just to talk. And I'm like, no, my story is my story. And it is what it's not changing, because that's what happened. And see, what a lot of people don't understand is, if you're touching me without my consent after my SA, that would trigger the hell out of me. If you touched me in any type of way, I would, and then it became reactive. And then that's how I started to spiral, and I started to fight and get in fights with people. It became bad. And see, this is the thing with Black girls, right? You label her difficult, you label her fast and acting out and everything, but has something happened to her that has her reacting that way and behaving that way. There's so many layers, y'all, when it comes to this. So many layers. So this triggered the hell out of me when I was watching this. Like, it just brought up so many memories. I have another story I'll never forget. I was in high school, and I'm in the receptionist office. It was glass, so you could see through the office through the glass, and you could see the reception desk, because that's just how our school was set up in high school. So if you were in the hallway, you could see through, and you could see the reception desk because it was all glass, right? So if you've seen those office buildings, or you've seen those offices where it's all glass. So I'm at the reception desk, and I don't know why I'm in there. I think I'm in there because I was called to the office or something, and so the receptionist called me down for whatever reason. So I'm in there talking to her, and I'm leaning over the counter to talk to her, and there's a crowd forming outside of the reception desk office. And I'm not paying attention. Like, I don't know. I'm talking to the receptionist. I'm trying to figure something out or whatever. There's a whole crowd forming outside, staring at my ass. And I didn't know what was going on. So I guess my older brother, he happened to just be passing by. I guess he was going to his next class or something like that. So he sees the crowd forming, and he doesn't, I'm not paying attention. So he just comes in. He grabs a newspaper off the reception desk, unfolds it, and he puts it up to cover me. Y'all, that was the most embarrassing shit I have ever experienced in my life. So as I'm watching this show, it's like all of these memories are starting to come back, and it's just triggering me to like, it's just, I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to even finish this shit? Like, I did not expect that this was going to be the thing for this show. So I was so embarrassed. And I just remember running out of the office and just like literally going to the bathroom to escape like people looking at me. And my brother followed me to the bathroom, and I think he waited for me to come out, and he was like, "Are you okay?" You know, and my brother was like that, very overprotective. And that's why people, to this day, people are like, "Why is your brother like that? Why is your other brother like that?" Because he's seen how people have said things about me. He has seen how people have treated me, and how they have been very sexual towards me from a very young age. So he's always been that big brother, like, no, don't look at my sister like that. But he couldn't always protect me. And that was the thing. So yes, my brother knows about my essay in college. And so my brother broke down in tears when I told this man what happened, because he was like, he's one of those type of men where he feel like he always gonna be there to protect. And he wasn't there, and he just felt so bad because he knew I had already gone through so much. So that's a story. I have another story where I went to the mall with my friends. I had to be 17 because I was able to drive to the mall. And I went to the mall with my friends, and I'm in this store. I think it was Wet Seal at the time. I'm pretty sure it was Wet Seal. It was either Wet Seal or Charlotte. And I was in there with my friends, and it was a group of us. We went to the mall, and another group started to form outside of either Wet Seal or Charlotte Rules. And I started looking out the store and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, oh, they're looking at me. And y'all, I was so embarrassed. And I didn't want to walk outside. I didn't want to walk out the store because I was like, I don't know what the hell is about to happen. It was so freaking weird. Like, and I'm 17 and there's like grown ass men. Y'all, it's just, and I have another story I will never forget. Me and my younger brother, we went to Dollar General and I'm checking out and we're checking out. And this kid, and yes, children are, and it said they don't really know any better, right? But the adults do. So I'm checking out, I'm at the front, and this kid says really loud, and it was dead silent in that Dollar General. He said out loud, he said, "Dad, her butt is huge." He said, y'all, and my younger brother was with me, and he heard, and I give off this embarrassed laugh. My younger brother gives off this nervous laugh. And I just remember like hurrying up to check out. And when we got in the car, we didn't even talk about it. Yeah. I got stories for days. Okay. I got stories for days. All right. And then people always ask, why don't you post more photos to your Instagram? I don't want people looking at me like that. Honestly. I have recently, I'm currently going through the process of healing from this. But man, that was triggering. I recently wrote in my journal last night. And because after I watched this show, I'm like, man, this is exactly what I've been talking about. So last night, I was just so motivated to journal. So I wrote in my journal entry and I said, thank you, God, for healing me from feeling like I always stick out like a sore thumb because I'm tall, I'm curvy. And I always used to feel like I stick out like a sore thumb. And I hated it because I always wanted to be in the background. I never wanted to be center of attention because typically if I got attention, it was trauma. It was never a good thing. It was always trauma associated with the attention that I got. So I said, thank you, God, for healing me, for feeling like I always stick out like a sore thumb. It doesn't matter where I go, what room I step into. Thank you for healing the fact that I was created and embracing the fact that I was always created to stick out. I was always created to stand out. I was never supposed to blend in with the crowd. I was always supposed to stick out. And when I was younger, I hated God for that. Like, honestly, I hated God. I hated, and my mom, she would have conversations with me all the time. And I was like, well, Mom, I hate that God made me like this. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I hate that God made me like this. I don't want to accept that God made me like this. He made me stick out like a sore thumb in every room that I step into. And I just don't like that. And then he made it harder for me to find clothes. He made it harder for me to just wear things that, I saw my friends wear, like Justin and stuff like that. I could never wear that stuff because I always had to wear adult clothes. Like I had to wear stuff that my mama was wearing because it covered me more. So I was like, I hate God for that. But I had to heal. So I wrote in my journal last night, I was like, thank you, God, for healing the fact that I always felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. Now I view myself as a rose, but with lots of thorns. And I made sure I put lots of thorns because now I know how to protect myself. When I was younger, I didn't know how to protect myself. So a sore thumb is a thumb that is what? Sore, because you pick at it. People can easily pick at your sore thumb and stuff. You know what I mean? And so it would cause it to be sore. And so now I don't feel like I'm a sore thumb anymore. I feel like I'm a rose, and I am now a rose with lots of thorns, and I know how to protect myself. So I wrote that in my journal last night after watching this show. And I just wanted to come on here and tell a little bit about my story for the girls that have ever gone through something like this. I completely understand. I honestly, And then another thing I want to talk about is some people feel like AD is objectifying herself, right? But then why does everyone else get to embrace their bodies and flaunt their bodies? And when we do it, we're objectifying ourselves. Why don't y'all view it the same way when it's a different type of body? I don't understand it, because like y'all, I be getting pushback like anytime I post my body and stuff like it. It's like all the other girls can do it, but as soon as I do it, it's a problem. And it don't matter. Like, I can upload a workout video, a cleaning video. I can upload a video of me doing a whole life in the day. If I was to record myself in any type of way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You would automatically think, oh, she's objectifying herself. Am I, or are you objectifying me with your eyes? In your mind? That's the part that made me so confused on embracing my body, being proud of it, admiring it, and like wanting to be sensual. Like that's what was so hard. I felt like I couldn't embrace my body because if I did, I would be objectifying myself. So I refrained from embracing my body because I felt like if I did, I would be objectifying myself, right? So what does it mean to embrace your body? Well, you embrace your body, you like it, right? Proud of it and everything. So that means you can upload content like cleaning videos. You can upload content like cooking videos, a day in a life videos, and not feel like you have to think twice about the camera angle, or you have to think twice about, oh, are they going to objectify me if I post this clip? But really, I'm just doing what any normal person would be doing. So I think the part where AD objectified herself, and I feel like the only part where she did was when she met Clay. And I think she didn't get the reaction she wanted at first. And so she did the whole walk away twirl thing to like get his approval. And I felt at that moment, yeah, she objectified herself because she was looking for outside validation and approval. But if you're not looking for outside validation and approval, I don't think as a curvier woman, you're objectifying yourself. I think you're showing yourself love and you're proud of your body. You love your body as you should. So as a curvy girl, if you are struggling with embracing your body, make sure that the only way you're not objectifying yourself is you're doing what you're doing for you and not the outside validation of others. That's how you'll know if you're truly objectifying yourself or if you are just embracing who you are and how God made you and all of that. And I think it's also important that to know that AD is natural. So you can't say she asked for it, right? You can't say that she asked for it. No, she was literally created this way. She said Jesus and her mama. That's what she said. And you can tell. You can tell that her body is natural. You can really tell. So yeah, she said squat. Did she say squats and Jesus? I thought she said Jesus and her mama. Yeah, I feel like the only way you're not objectifying yourself is when it's done on your own terms. But when it's not done on your own terms or you're looking for outside validation, then you are at that point that I would say that's objectifying, in my opinion. So I just wanted to share that with you all. Oh, and did you see this? I wanted to share this TikTok. I almost forgot. Because there was a palm-colored woman that made a video and she stuffed this pillow in her butt to try to mock AD, and it ended up blowing up in her face. And I wanted to show y'all. She said, point of view, AD talking to everyone's man, trying to make them fall in love with her. Again, another example of what I'm talking about when it comes to being a curvier girl. I was like, I don't think AD was doing that at all. I think that's just AD's personality. She's very open, friendly, social. I mean, if she would have been the black girl that was standoffish or shy or introverted and not mingling and talking with everyone, then people would then label her what? Stuck up. She got an attitude. She don't work well with like black women can never just win. Like we really can't. We really can't. But this woman was showing her insecurities just as bad as Chelsea was showing her insecurities. And so she decided to make this TikTok, and let's just get into it.
I try to be really intentional about the way that I speak about women on my videos, because I think a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. So if you've noticed, when I speak about women, I really try not to touch on their looks. And if I do, I'm like, everybody's beautiful, because literally everybody is beautiful. But sometimes when you all post videos like that, I question multiple things. I question if your brain has any ridges, if it's actually as smooth as a bowling ball. I question if you actually don't know that this has racist undertones. And then I also question if you know, but then you also don't care. It is astounding to me. Like, we all have seen Love is Blind. We know AD is thickest in America. Like, the body is bad. I literally just had 2 cookies and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm supposed to be building my body like AD. Like, what's going on? But you came up here and you posted that video and you stuffed a pillow in your butt during Black History Month and didn't think that's like, where's the ridges in your brain? They're clearly non-existent. The frontal lobe, even at 32, because you're 32, have not. Okay, where do we even start? Let's start from the beginning. AD is a beautiful woman. Like, it's clear. And you are saying that she's trying to take everyone's man when the men are the ones who propose to the girls. Is she trying to take everybody's man, or is the bitch just bad? Like, let's keep it a buck.
I just want to bring up that this goes way back during slavery. And y'all already know what I'm about to get at. Y'all remember how they started making those dresses that had a cage? Literally, these women were out here putting on cages around their waist to create that illusion that they had a small waist and a big butt. Where did they get that from? The slaves. This goes way back, y'all. The BBL been around. Y'all thought it was around when they started doing the fat transfer to the ass. Nah, girl, they was out here wearing cages around, metal cages under they damn dresses, trying to recreate that. So this ain't nothing new. This ain't shocking to me. This ain't shocking. So to see how they was reacting, I'm not shocked by that.
The video should have been you checking their fiancés, not you stuffing a pillow in your butt and saying that she's trying to take somebody's man. A beautiful girl is just that, a beautiful girl. And I don't like when we pit like women against each other, because you're putting the onus on the woman and not the onus on the man. It's almost as if, like, when the women on here, they do that, like, oh, that man is mine, he's not yours, he's married to me. Check your man, not the bitch. Like, are y'all for real? All I want to say is, like, the only thing that you should have thought when you saw AD and thought that her body was bad was, oh, I need to get my ass in the gym, or I need to lay my butt on the table. I don't need to stuff a pillow in my butt during Black History Month. Like, and the ones in the comments talking about, I thought the same thing. Can we acknowledge that AD recognizes she's a beautiful woman? Yes. Just because she looks up at a man and she acknowledges a man, you think she's trying to take Bart Simpson away from Adele Nunn Fox? Are you for, like?
And you have to wonder, like, how many women during slavery went through this, where the slave master's wife would probably discipline her or beat her or probably scapegoat her because maybe she was getting special attention and treatment from the slave master. Yeah, that's because this is how far back it goes. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care what nobody say. And it's just disgusting that woman felt so comfortable to upload that. And during Black History Month, like, come on now. No. Mm-mm.
How come we didn't do a video talking about how come that man was gonna do a bean dip on her? How come we didn't do a video on that? Anyways, you guys have lost it, and that creator, like, if they start getting mean to you in the comments, is because you're like, I don't know if you're being dense or you just don't give a damn. And the video was racist. So I don't like it.
So I think I covered everything. What couples, I'm going to end here, but what couples do you think are going to make it? The only couple I'm really rooting for is Amy and Johnny. I'm just throwing that out there. Amy and Johnny. Jeramey and Laura would be second if Jeramey shows me some maturity, like where he's, because I get it, he's on vacation, but I want to see how he is in serious situations. I do. But they both wrong as a couple. So that's just my opinion. But Amy and Johnny is pretty, like, that's pretty much it. Do the trailer. Can I do the trailer, or is that copyright? I think that would be a copyright if I was to do the trailer. Yeah, I think Amy and Johnny, and then Trevor, I would like to follow up with him and see how things are going. But really, that's it. Brittany and Ken already talked about that. I'm sorry. It's copyright. That's what I thought. I can't play the trailer. I would if I could. That's why I created the slideshow. But yeah, comment down below who you think is gonna make it this season, because I'm interested in reading some of your comments about, who you think is gonna be winning. Okay. I hope to see you all in my next one. I hope to see you all in my next one. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this breakdown. I will be doing a part 2, but I won't be doing it until probably they wrap up this season. So I'll probably make 3 videos where I'll do a part 2 where they complete the rest of the season, and then do a video, and then I'll do a reunion video and probably be done with this. But yeah, I just wanted to give my opinion so far on this season of Love is Blind season 6. And like I said, the only couple I'm really rooting for is Amy and Johnny. So I'm going to end it here, and I hope to see you in my next one.